So now we get into the next section, and it does say lecture again, but again, I'm not here to lecture anybody. I don't think I can pull that off. Mm-hmm. The concept, this section is called mission tactics. The concept of mission tactics, like surfaces and gaps, must always be at work in battle. The name is derived from the German Auftragstaktik, which means literally mission tactics. It is no accident that the name includes the word tactics. Assigning a mission and depending on subordinates to carry it out constitutes the tactic. To allow the subordinate to decide on his own initiative what to do is the means of getting the most appropriate decisions made on the spot and acted on more rapidly than the enemy can respond to your actions. Got to get your subordinate leadership to lead. You want them to lead. This is the account of Prince Frederick Charles, who is giving a ton lashing to one of his majors for committing a tactical blunder. In defense of his action, the major explained that he was only following orders. In the Prussian army, the major reminded the prince, an order from a senior officer was tantamount to an order from the king. The prince was unimpressed. His reply to the major was, "The king made you a major because he thought you were smart enough to know when not to obey orders." And that is the essence of mission tactics. The subordinate decides what to do, even if it means that the order issued by his senior now should be changed or adjusted. The mission assigned is sacred. The mission is the output that the commander wants. That does not change. But how that output is to be achieved may change. And it is up to the intelligent subordinate to decide whether or not it has. Total freedom for the subordinate leadership to figure out how they want to make this happen. They know what they need to get done, but they have the freedom to figure out how they're going to make it happen. Back to the book. There is a classic example used time and time again in introducing the student to mission tactics. It is simple and of value, so it will be used again here. The subordinate is giving the mission of getting his unit across the river. Getting his unit across the river is the output the senior desires. The route that he has been given crosses the nearest bridge. The junior commander arrives at the site to find that the bridge has been destroyed. He does not stop. He does not wait for new orders. He does not request permission to change his route. He goes to the nearest ford several kilometers distant, and he crosses there. He informs the senior, of course, as soon as he can, but he does not wait. Remember, mission orders are necessary to give the tempo of operations the rapidity that it must have if we are to keep the enemy off balance. So that's a very simple example. I tell Echo, hey, I need your troops across that river. Go across that bridge. You get there, the bridge is out. You're like, oh, I'm still going to get across the river. Let's find another place we can go across, or let's make it happen. And you're going to make it happen. Not going to bother me. You're not going to call me back. You're not going to, hey, the bridge is out. What do you want me to do? Now, something that this is a little bit simplified, because the reality is, if you're going to start moving kilometers away from where I anticipated you being, you need to tell me that you're moving. You need to tell me, because I might have other friendly units in the area that don't expect you. I might be dropping bombs in that area. So this is actually leaving out some critical coordination that does have to happen, but the initiative to make it happen should happen.
Yeah, it seems like you like in the process of that decentralized command, the person carrying out the order it's kind of to his discretion how much he's going to deviate when something changes. Like of course he's going to deviate, he's going to make those adjustments, but you don't want to deviate too much.
Right. And honestly, if I was to give you the directions, hey, Echo, I need you across the river, I would literally give you some parameters to work within. I'd say don't go further south than this area, than this road, and don't go further north than this. You can do whatever you want inside of here. So now you can do whatever you want inside that box.
Yeah, and how you always talk about you'll say like why you're going across the river as well. Yep. So,
and for speaking of why, and here's another example of mission orders. This is an actual example. Seize control of Route 6 west of the Muddy River in order to destroy enemy forces attempting to escape from Company Bravo's zone of action. So it's telling you the why. That's what the in order to is. Notice in the mission order the phrase in order to. That is a very important phrase and usually ought to go in the mission order. There's no rule that every mission order contain the phrase in order to. If you were told attack the enemy company that you see in front of you, it would probably be highly superfluous to tell you why. They are there. They are a threat. Why waste the breath? But usually, your mission order will have the ability to endure time better if you explain to the subordinate why he is carrying the mission out. So you called this, Echo. Turned into a little tactical genius over there, aren't you? In order to, this gives the order the quality that Erich von Manstein called long-term. It can endure the test of time. Your commander can lose communication with you, yet you can still carry out his intent because you know what he wanted, and you can continue to act within his intent for a long time without checking back. Understanding the why, as briefed by Lieutenant Colonel Echo Charles. Fixed rules are not appropriate in instructing how to assign missions. Too often, students reject good ideas about tactics because they cannot get their thoughts to fit the format of the operation order that is being demanded. The important thing is that the mission be clear. Compared to clarity, format is of little or no consequence. And this is, we talk about it in Extreme Ownership, these massive PowerPoint briefs that, I mean, hundreds, literally, 100 to 150 slides to try and make to try and brief a mission. And the leaders would waste so much time trying to put these briefs together, and they wouldn't do the planning that they're supposed to be doing. They wouldn't be thinking. They'd be building PowerPoint slides. Right. And I've just had to get these guys to think and stop working on the PowerPoint. Stop trying to match your font. Yeah. Stop trying to equalize the hues on each slide to make it look pretty. No, don't care. What I want you to do is think, and I want clarity of mission is the most important thing. As a matter of fact, I had one guy who was running training, and a guy says to me, it's one of the task unit commanders, and he says, hey, what is it that you're looking for in the brief? And he's, trying to figure out how many slides do I want to see and what format do I want to see. And I said, what I want for the brief is that your men understand the operation. Boom. Back to the book. The subordinate receiving that order must be more talented. Amateur troops, awkward, clumsy, untrained troops cannot be expected to carry out mission orders. Why? Because as a result of their lack of experience, they must be told what to do. Only the professional, experienced leader can know what to do without being told what to do. Because we in the Marine Corps set our standards high, we expect that our subordinates will train until they can perform under mission orders. So I don't know if I made this clear or if I breezed over this part. Mission orders is exactly what we're talking about when it comes to, hey, just tell the person, this is what I need done. Yeah. And this is why I want it done. You figure it out. As opposed to telling them exactly what you want them to do.
Commander's intent.
Yes, indeed, commander's intent. Burdens of responsibility increase on both sides. On the part of the senior commander, so when you're doing mission orders, the burden of responsibility increases on the part of the senior commander and on the part of the subordinate. Look first at the senior commander. Operating with mission orders, his orders must be perfectly clear. The onus is on the senior to define to the junior what must be accomplished without telling him how to do it. The onus is not on the junior to ferret out what his commander wants. The senior must state what he wants, otherwise he should not expect to get it. Now, I actually, when I teach people this, I tell them that the onus is on the junior. And if I tell you to do something, and you don't understand why you're doing it, and you don't understand what my intent is, and you still go in the field and try and do it, I blame you. I mean, it's my fault too, but we're both taking ownership. You might even say we're taking extreme ownership of the situation. But really, if your boss isn't telling you why they're telling you to do something, you just raise your hand and ask, hey boss, what's your objective here? What's your overall intent? What's the commander's intent? because I want to make sure if I lose communications with you, I can continue to execute towards your desired end state.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're looking for.
Dig it.
An additional burden of responsibility on the senior is that he must train his subordinates and his unit to operate as a team. They are not going to be able to perform mission orders without training. Another new burden of responsibility is that he must expect his subordinates to make mistakes. He may not expect zero defects. Wars are won by people, not machines. People make mistakes. If people are more afraid of making mistakes than they are of exercising initiative now and then, they will not take risks and they will not exercise initiative. Furthermore, they will not win in war. Perhaps the most important new responsibility that is placed on the commander who gives mission orders is that he must trust his subordinates. If trust breaks down, the whole system breaks down. So people ask me about trust from time to time, and it's absolutely, and I talk about relationships, the R word, and that's what it is. And Leif and I talked about the other day on the podcast is that just building trust, how one of the best ways to build trust is give it. I give it. And so that's what goes back and forth. And in the military, you do that when you're in the training environment. When there's no risk or very, very tiny risk of life and limb, there's no strategic lift, you're not going to lose the war. So I'm going to let you run with stuff. Yeah. I want you to learn. I want you to take risks. And if you fail, if you screw something up, I don't try and fire you. We try and learn from it. Yeah. And that encourages you to take initiative and keep getting after it.